topic a little bit, but it allows some more people to come into the chat. So I wanted to talk about this because there has been a lot over Spurs Twitter with the discussion on who should we pick. Should we pick Dylan Harper or should we pick Ace Bailey? And there's been quite a few people that have been frustrated with me. I don't want to use too harsh of words because it's not like angry or anything, but like frustrated with how much propaganda that I'm throwing out there with Dylan Harper. By the way, when people hear propaganda, you automatically think bad. That's not necessarily true, right? There's some good propaganda. I think me advocating for Dylan Harper is good propaganda. Sohan being a good player, that's good propaganda. It's true too. But anyways, that's besides the point. With Dylan Harper, this whole idea, camera just flickered. I don't know what just happened there. The whole idea of taking Ace Bailey over Dylan, I think is just completely a misstep. I don't agree with it whatsoever. I don't think that is smart. And everything analytics wise, everything that we've seen, even the eye test tells me personally that Dylan Harper is the easy, surefire player that you pick at number 2. Easily. Is it really a debate between Harper and Bailey? I've seen it. Still people actually saying we should take Ace Bailey over Dylan Harper. I've seen it. Fuel the Bailey propaganda clan. That will do something. I'm not doing that. I'm going to be honest with you. But I came across this and I wanted to show you guys this because I think this is quite telling. So this is showing the percentage in which players are pressured. And these situations are ones in which they're on the sideline or baseline. And then it also shows the percentage of turnovers after passing after being pressured. Does that make sense? Hopefully I explained that correctly. So this is how well these players do under pressure when it pertains to passing, okay? So it says, how often do 2025 NBA draft prospects pass under pressure? How players handle pressure is crucial for understanding their on-ball ceiling, and that's what we're looking at here. Note, this stat only encompasses passing chances, turnovers, not scoring chances, turnovers. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. And he has some other stuff as well. But just to continue, he said, for clarity, I define under pressure as multiple players crowding a one player plus the sideline or baseline. Also worth noting that the samples are very small for some of the prospects. Ace, for example, had 32 total under pressure passing chances. Flag had 25. Noah had 4 total. This stat is probably most useful for lead guards, but cool to look at nonetheless. All right. So when it comes to Ace, not a ton of chances, but at the end of the day, hey, it's what it is. So if we're looking here, what things look like when you're under pressure, you can see that the pressure percentages for Dylan Harper in particular, 24.7%. And then his turnovers, when it pertains to being pressured, is as low as 12.7. Exceptionally low. And then with Ace, you can see the percentage is 30.8, but very high turnovers when pressured. Now, as far as a player being pressured, that can be a good thing or bad thing, just depending on the context, right? Like some players, if they're really great, then teams are going to play them that way and they're going to pressure them, right? Or it could be the opposite. You could be really bad and then teams pressure you because they want you to make a mistake, right? But when it comes to Ace Bailey, what makes this a little concerning is the fact that Ace Bailey is a player that oftentimes spot up shoots with creation from Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper set up a lot of his plays, and he's in the corner. And this is taking a look at what pressure looks like, how he responds to pressure in those corners. So he's kind of relegated, or in college relegated to that corner role, but he was mostly a catch and shoot player for the most part. He wasn't great with the ball in his hands. He doesn't create a ton of space, just to be honest. But because of that, and you're being relegated to a corner, and seeing that when you get pressured in that corner, you don't do as well, it really shows. It's kind of like a double-edged sword at that point, right? Now, I'm sure Ace Bailey, he'll come into his own. It'll take some time, and he'll be a good player in the NBA. But with Dylan Harper in particular, the fact that the ball was in his hands often with Rutgers, And the fact that his turnover percentage is so freaking low really speaks to how good he actually is. But I do agree. The too small sample for Ace. Yeah, that's true. If his 30 is too low, needs to be at least 100 for significance. That's true. So I won't beat up on him too much. But what I really want to point out is just Dylan Harper in particular, how impressive that is, right? Like he does a great job getting the ball out of his hands and not turning the ball over in those processes. So just something I wanted to bring up because I think that as much data that we can get on Dylan Harper as much as possible, I think is important. And just when we're comparing him and Ace, I think that the context of it, just in my opinion, is that Dylan Harper really set up a lot for Ace as well. And as far as creating enough space, I don't think Ace Bailey creates a lot of space, to be real with you guys. Whereas Dylan Harper, he's so creative. And he's so shifty. And crafty. I guess that's the word I'm really looking for. Is crafty. I just like it a little bit more. Lack of self-creation is a concern for Bailey. Look like it's been a while, but we might have to revisit. Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. Did someone compare him to T-Mac? I think, funny, the person who compared him to T-Mac, I think was Dylan Harper. I think Dylan Harper compared Ace Bailey to T-Mac. He just loves him that much. Yeah, he's not. I think people got to watch T-Mac play. Go watch some old T-Mac footage. Ace Bailey isn't a good passer under pressure. Is what a lot of sports writers are saying. Okay, well, if a lot of sports writers are saying it, that's one thing. And now we just have we got a little bit of data here. He also posted this, which is pretty cool. So it says, and here's a relationship between pressure rate and potential assists. Top right with a smaller bubble is where you want to be here. Harper, Trey, CMB, all seeing tons of pressure and create shots out of those chances. So we take a look here. All right. So you can see where Dylan Harper is. So potential assists on the Y and on the X is pressure rate. And you can see he gets a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. But you can see obviously Ace Bailey's pressure rate was really high as well. Bailey is getting severely underrated. I genuinely don't think y'all actually watch Bailey with the takes I'm seeing. What's your take on it? Just that he's underrated. I don't think he's been underrated, honestly. A lot of mock drafts have Ace Bailey fourth. A lot of them that I've seen. I don't think that's underrated whatsoever. I don't agree with that. Bailey isn't as developed as Harper. Yeah. But anyways, I'm just saying you're taking the second overall pick. I'm not rolling with Ace Bailey on this. Dylan Harper, in my opinion, is going to be not to say Ace Bailey can't be this, but I really do believe, because I know people keep bringing this up, but any other draft, this is a number one pick. He's going to be a multi-faceted all-star, like continuous all-star, in my opinion. And yeah, I just don't know if it's the same trajectory on the other end. Just if you're comparing the two, it's the second overall pick, guys. We're going with Dylan Harper. Maybe we'll be having a different discussion if we were the fourth, right? If we were the third, fourth, fifth, maybe we can have that discussion. But in this draft in particular, no, don't even think about it. You go after Dylan Harper. You know what I mean? And it actually speaks to how good he is that there's so many teams and so many different news articles coming out there saying, hey, this team wants to go after Dylan Harper. Oh, the Nets want Dylan Harper. Oh, can this team make a move for Dylan Harper? I mean, I saw something the other day where it suggested that the Dallas Mavericks could trade their pick for Dylan Harper, which I don't. That would be really dumb, in my opinion, because Cooper Flag is better. But I don't know. People are suggesting things. Harper is a great choice, but the difference between Harper and Bailey is razor. I don't agree with that. No, I don't agree with that. People have been talking as if it's a large gap. It's a pretty sizable gap. I'm gonna have to push back on you on that one. I think it's a pretty sizable gap. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't agree with that. I mean, we're talking elite scorer here in Harper. I think it's a pretty sizable gap. It's not a crazy gap to an extent of like, oh, Ace Bailey's like trash role player and Dylan Harper is superstar. It's not like that, but there's a pretty big gap. So not saying Harper wouldn't be wait. But if you watch Harper play, I will say he has a very similar play style to Fox. It's like mixing water with oil. No. So not saying Harper wouldn't be productive off ball, but he wouldn't be maxing out his game. He actually, we went over this before, but he's actually one of the best in college off ball. So I wouldn't worry about that. Here, I'll bring it up. I know I bring it up a lot, but we do so many videos till I can't really get upset with you for not seeing it. Just give me a second. I really just need a bookmark it, honestly, so we can just have these to go to quickly. I'll still respond. Clanny plays better on ball. He's great on ball, and he's great off ball. But I wouldn't worry about it too much, you know? We're not at the point where we would need him to for the offense to run through him or anything, or for him to run the offense full time. That's the whole point of having Fox. That we can make that transition in the future. Where are you? Wait, did I go past it? I had to go on past. There's no way it's this far down. Hold on. Do a poll, Clan Harper, Bailey. We did do one, and Harper blew it out of the water. The first night when we did it, it was pretty 50-50. The second time we did it, it was like 80-20. So I don't know if it's even worth doing. As far as the community over here. Oh, here it is. 86th percentile on spot up scoring, 43.2% three. And then 91st percentile as a cutter, 1.5 points per possession this season for Rutgers. So he is literally one of the best off-ball players as well. So the idea or being worried like, oh, is it going to pan out? I just wouldn't worry about it. Even Steph Castle, man, a lot of people going into this season or like this past season thought, oh my goodness, okay, well, we're fine because he's just an off-ball player. And now people realizing, oh no, he's really good on ball as well. These are just these types of players, man. They're really good at a lot of different things. They're effective in both areas. Now, Dylan Harper is better, you know, especially offensively. He is better than Castle, but I mean, he can do it all. Exactly. 1.5 points per possession is insanely efficient. Yeah. So, you know, I'm gonna do my best when I see things to convey it to you guys, just to get it through your heads how good he actually is. But yeah. The problem, EJJ, yes, I did watch quite a few. So the problem with that is Ace, even though individually, yeah, he's impressive, and you said jump shot creation, he doesn't create a lot of space. And I'm just afraid that when you're actually in the NBA, that's not going to pan out. Because Rutgers is a really bad team because they were just so young. But with Ace Bailey in particular, that lack of separation that he creates is pretty concerning. Whereas when I see Dylan Harper, he can stop on a dime. He creates that creation when he does take his jump shots. Obviously, like you said, he's elite downhill. I mean, he's super impressive with like 66% finishing. And like that's usually reserved for big men that can do that. So it's really impressive that a guard can do it. But yeah, it's just that's the issue. So even though Ace did a very good job, and I think he's going to be a good player, I think there is a sizable difference between those two. And Ace just doesn't create a lot of space. He just doesn't. He can shoot, a lot of times he can shoot over the top of you, but you know, in the NBA, I don't know how well, I think he's going to struggle a little bit for a while because of that. And a lot of his shots were set up by Dylan Harper as well. Ace Bailey's problem comes primarily from his strength. He isn't able to hold himself and get to spots on the floor. Not very well. I'm trying to see a poll too. Okay, all right, okay, we'll do a poll. All right, we'll do a poll. Yeah, give me a second. Let's do a poll. There we go. We'll do it for a few minutes. Wait, is the poll up? Do you guys see the poll, chat? I actually don't see the poll. Maybe the poll isn't up. Oh well. I don't know what just happened. Oh, there it is. It's up now. But yeah. All right, let me look at some of these other comments. Worst case scenario, he is Scoot. Well, luckily for us, he definitely has a little bit more in his bag and better size than Scoot. Yeah, I think Felix asked, should the Spurs draft Harper, and both he and Castle sign rookie extensions? I mean, I really get frustrated when people make the claim that somebody needs to be traded. Like I think we went over an article a couple nights ago that was advocating for the Spurs to trade away Castle, and it's just like, what are we doing, bro? Like, what are we doing? Like, look at the teams. Just open our eyes a little bit. Look at the teams that are successful in the NBA. Look at the ones that's doing well right now. You can have multiple guards. That article was so dumb. It was 2 articles. It was a 2-for-1, man. We went over 2 articles. It was like, what are we going on about? But look around the league. You want more talent. It's not having multiple guards isn't a problem. You'll be fine. Do we need a backup big? Yes. But we don't have to jeopardize, talent for that. And it's a good problem to have when you're wondering, like, who's going to run the offense. I'll be honest with you. If it had to come down, which it won't, but if it had to come down to who's the primary ball handler for this team for the future, I would trust Dylan Harper more so than Castle, because I think Castle can run the second unit, but Castle is a player that even in college, he could do basically anything that you need him to do. And I don't know if he's like a full-time point guard. Dylan Harper could be. Both of which are pretty much combo guards, though. All right, let's see. Let's see how this poll going. Yeah, dude. Like I said, we got 90% Dylan Harper. We'll just leave it up. But it's 90% right now. 90% says Dylan. So I wouldn't worry too much. That's all I had to say. I'm sorry. This segment probably went on longer than it had to. But just thought you guys should know about this because it's very telling. It's very telling.